Hello, and welcome back to Redeye Reviews. Today we're going to be discussing the new movie Nomad Land, directed by Chloé Zhao. It is a film adaptation of the 2017 book called Nomad Land, Surviving America in the 21st Century. The book was written by Jessica Bruder. The movie won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, and it also won the People's Choice Award at the Toronto International Film Festival, making it the first film ever to win both the Venice and Toronto prize. So I'm very excited to talk about it. Let's get into it because there's a lot to unpack. This is Redeye Reviews. Now, as with my other review videos, we will start with a quick synopsis of the film. If you do not want to know the entire plot, please skip ahead to this timestamp right here on the screen, and let's begin. The film starts back in 2011 with our main character, Fern. Her and her husband worked at the U.S. gypsum plant in Empire, Nevada, but after the sheetrock boom and the mine was eventually shut down, the town kind of fell into disarray because there's no profit anymore. That and the recent death of her husband, she decides to leave her house and in its place purchase a camper van to live in. She works at an Amazon fulfillment center during the holidays, and she meets several other people there with nomadic lifestyles. She learns of this event on BLM Land, or Bureau of Land Management, which is basically free camping grounds. She attends the event and learns how to be self-sufficient, how to survive in a van, blend into cities, things like that. She makes several friends along her journey, and she goes through Nevada, Arizona, out to the West Coast in California, the Redwood Forest, and several other places. She eventually meets back up with one of her friends, Dave, who at this point has given up the nomadic lifestyle in place of being a grandfather, and he asks Fern to stay as well. However, she finds it very difficult to be outside of the comfort of her van, and she quickly leaves after just a few days. The movie ends after she goes back to Nevada to take a final look at the old house before getting back on the road in her van. Okay, now I can honestly say this has been my favorite movie of 2021 so far. The story of Fern is one of perseverance, pride, and ultimately loneliness. It has this incredible way of finding beauty in the simplicity, because there are no fancy effects. There's no ambient audio design. There's no studio lighting. It creates its story using just the world that was available around it. Whether it's the blinding yet cold lights of an Amazon center, the warmth of the Arizona desert, or the isolation of a cold winter in a small van, Chloé Zhao clearly understands how to film the real world without any fancy tricks. And she shows the beauty that we all know the world is capable of. Now, our lead character Fern is played by Frances McDormand, known for movies like Fargo and Almost Famous, and she is the perfect actress for this role. She has this incredible ability to keep us enthralled in the story of a rather simple, mundane existence. Because Fern doesn't have any secrets, she isn't looking to be a hero, she's just a simple woman trying to experience everything she can while surviving on her own terms. Because you see, for everything Fern isn't on the surface, she is immensely more complicated on the inside. She's a very proud woman and refuses to take handouts or pity unless absolutely necessary for her survival, because she wants to live her way and she's not going to let anybody change her mind. But for the part of her that is a lone survivor, finding her peace in solitude, there is another equally strong part of her that desperately wants to connect with people. And whether she will admit to it or not, she really doesn't want to be alone. One of the friends she meets along the way is this man named Dave. And Dave kind of falls in love with her and wants to keep her in his life, but she just won't allow herself to let her guard down. However, despite her own efforts, she's always drawn to him throughout the entire story. And whether she knows why she keeps going back to him or not is unclear. But as a viewer, I really wanted her to find love again. But I think we come to terms that there's a part of her that will never allow that to happen. Now, what makes this movie feel just so very real are the people she interacts with are almost all actual real people. For instance, the man who runs the free living community named Bob Wells is an actual person who runs this. And they have interactions between Fern and real authentic people, and the stories that led those people to where they are today. And some of them are deeply sad and heart-wrenching to hear, but others have a profound beauty to them with important life lessons. One of my favorite is she meets this lady around a campfire, and she talks about how her friend, who is a week away from retirement, and he learns his liver is starting to fail, and he had purchased a sailboat, and he was going to spend his retirement on his boat. Yet 10 days later, he died, and he never got to sail his boat. And what really stuck with me is she said, "You don't want your sailboat in the driveway when you die." And that really hit me. It's such a powerful reminder to just live life in the moment. And don't just wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. There's another really emotional scene later in the movie when Fern's van breaks down and she has to get it towed to a shop. And they tell her that with the current mileage of the van and the age of the van, it would cost more to fix it than it's actually worth. And she should just sell it and put the money towards another vehicle. And she fights the feeling of kind of breaking down emotionally because what these men don't know was that the van isn't just a vehicle to her, it's her home, her safe space, her memories. You know, her identity is intertwined with this van, and by putting a price tag on it, they just told her everything she has and all of her memories aren't worth fixing, and to pawn them off for, I think it was $5,000. And the men obviously aren't trying to be mean to her, but your heart goes out to her when you see how hard the situation hit her. She does, however, get her van fixed and manages to get back on the road, but it is still a very powerful scene in my mind. Near the end of the movie, she's talking to Bob Wells, who's the leader of that community. It's honestly, it's kind of like a Burning Man for retirees is kind of how they put it. But he tells her that in life, there are no final goodbyes. And it doesn't matter if your friends are close or they're 1,000 miles away. You never say goodbye. You just say, I'll see you down the road. And these words of wisdom give her the courage to visit her old home. She makes peace with the town and the memory of her husband. And she realizes that he might not be with her now, but she'll see him down the road. And with that, I'm going to give this movie, I think, a 9 out of 10. Honestly, it was phenomenal, and I highly recommend you watch it. If you are interested, it's currently streaming on Hulu. I don't know if it's on other platforms, but I know it's on Hulu. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, comment on the video. I'd love to hear from any and all of you. And until next time, I will see you down the road. This is Redeye Reviews saying, stay happy and stay healthy.